Topics as usual.
I'm really hot.
Oh, unleash the fickle.
Oh, I am so hot.
When fickle has a grab on you like that.
Oh, hot.
Fickle.
I'm so hot for Badger
I'm always
football.
cold. I have like this thing, and I got this sweatshirt, and I got a shirt, and I got this, and then I got a layer of fat underneath there, which was nice.
Well, I got the layer of fat. I'll tell you that much, buddy. I'll tell you that much.
I love that.
You fishing down at the harbor by Trevor's? Stevie?
Did you ever go fishing at the cemetery when we used to do that when we were in high school down by the Fox River? Maybe I'm
The cemetery was like across the street.
Maybe that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, is that where we jump into the dirty Fox River on that?
Yeah.
On that like swing?
And lips would like go Dahmer on carp.
I know. What the hell were we thinking? That river was so disgusting and dirty back then.
Oof.
We
could have ended up like
swimming in it.
We could have ended up like Jeff Buckley.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is, there's a lot of dead in there. It's probably dead Packers. That's where they throw them.
Yeah, if they don't perform, anyone we're trying to get rid of. Well, hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Breaking Down the Game. We're on episode 15. How you doing, Isles?
Pretty darn good, TR. I'm ready to rock tonight.
Ready to rock. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a moment to thank a good buddy of mine, Big Nate. Big Nate was so kind to send these killer Packer shoes to me, I guess as a Christmas gift, or maybe you just feel sorry for me for what I'm going through. But once again, thanks, Big Nate. These are really killer. They're just my size, and they are very comfortable.
Can you hold that back a little bit so I can get a view of that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kind of roll it that way. So, oh my God, those are sick. What is that white thing on the top? Is that more lightning on the front toe?
Lightning. It's lightning.
I love the bigger shoelaces too. I don't know what it is about that.
Yeah, they're very nice. So once again, thank you, Big Nate. That was very kind of you.
Are those custom made?
I think they were, but I think we'd have to ask Big Nate for the details. I know he had a couple of pairs, and he gave one away to one of his subscribers. I think one of our subscribers, Zane Strong Jr., got those. So
nice. Pretty nice. A Big Nate.
Yeah, I mean, geez, we're going to have to come up with some door prizes around here to get more people to come in and engage.
We can give away on.
Yeah, we can give away on. We can give away handies. We can, lots of different things we could give away.
Your show, you can give it away. All right.
I'll give it away now. So.
Oh, yeah.
So, everyone, please like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, enjoy the show. We like talking Packer football, even though it's somewhat of an echo chamber lately. We're talking about the same old damn stuff, but hey, we appreciate you being here nonetheless. Hey, Isles, the playoffs. Now, the Packers are apparently still mathematically in the race, but is it a fantasy?
I kind of looked at this the other day, actually prior to last week, and they needed like 4 teams to lose to really have their chances be prolonged. I think one was the Lions, which they won. We actually needed Minnesota. One team that's teetering is the Giants. We needed them to lose, and they did lose handily, if I remember right. I think they got smoked by the Eagles.
Yes.
And then there's 2 other teams. Who are they? Can you think?
Well, you got the Washington Commanders are in the race. Seattle is still a part of that, as well as San Francisco, depending on what happens out west. But I think the point is there's a lot that has to happen for the Packers to be able to get into the playoffs. Okay, so if we look at the standings entering Week 15 in the NFC, this is what we got. We have Philadelphia, obviously, they're going to get home field. Minnesota, San Francisco, and Tampa Bay. as the division leaders. So those guys are all ahead of us. Then if we go down to the wild card scenarios, we've got Dallas, Washington, New York, Seattle, Detroit, and then Green Bay fighting for 3 wild card spots.
Yeah, so really it comes down to Washington, New York, Seattle, and Detroit. Those 4 teams, right? Washington Giants, yeah. So 7 and 5. I wonder if that tie could possibly come into play. So if let's say we win out, we're at 13 wins, we could be 9 and 8 if we win out, right?
Yes. So the way I see this, Isles, is that both Washington and the Giants can only win one more game, and then they have to lose the rest.
I would agree.
And then we also have to get ahead of Detroit, which we can if we win out and Detroit loses a couple games.
Yep. We play them again too, right?
Yes. So
they basically have to lose one more aside from the one we would kick their ass in, right?
Correct. So regardless, I think first things first, we got to take care of our own business, and we have to win every game. I guess maybe it isn't a complete fantasy, but I think most of the people out there are kind of assuming the Packers are not going to make the playoffs. Because let's face it, how good have they been playing at all, period, this year?
I feel like the offense is starting to show some signs of life, but the defense has just been rotten. I mean, it's just so bad.
Yeah.
That it's just... But it'd still be fun just to keep it going to at least to the end of the year. Maybe we sneak in. Maybe they get hot. Maybe something, I don't know. Maybe we frickin' sign the Incredible Hulk on the defensive line and life is wonderful. I don't know. Still fun. Still fun.
Absolutely. Crazier things have happened, but let's just say it's unlikely the Packers are going to make the playoffs this year. But since there's still a ray of hope, let's continue to cheer this team and hope for the best. I don't know what else to say, bro.
Yep. The good thing is, if they win this week, next week we can still have this conversation because there's no way they could be mathematically eliminated if they win this week, based on what we just looked at.
Yeah. I mean, I think we need to get out our slide rulers and abacuses to really fully analyze this playoff scenario. But you know what I mean. I mean, some of these playoff scenarios gets crazy. But I think what the frustrating thing is just look at the NFC this year. It was wide open for us this year.
Oh my God!
All we had to do was win 1 or 2 of those earlier games that we lost. Yeah. And we'd be in the thick of it, and this wouldn't be an arguing point. Anyway, playoffs, probably a fantasy, but it's still living.
Yep.
In the hearts of all Packer fans.
Yep.
So I want to get to the next topic, which is, we kind of look out for breakout players at the end of the year, and we're kind of going into the final quarter of the season this year. And I wanted to ask you, Wiles, and ask our viewers as well, who do you think could be the breakout player or players the final quarter of the season?
I think it's going to be, and he's kind of coming on, or has been coming on the last couple of games, is A.J. Dillon.
A.J. Dillon.
It's kind of A.J. Dillon time. You're going into that shitty weather. It's cold. He just seems like he's just... I don't know. It was so weird because at the beginning of the year, he just wasn't having a good year. I think we talked about it multiple times.
Yeah.
But lately, he's kind of bringing the pain. He's finding holes. And then you add that cold weather or sloppy weather on top of it. I feel like he's going to be the breakout guy. I think he's primed to do it. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I mean, one of the things I heard recently is AJ was talking about how earlier in the year, he was trying to be perfect with everything that he was doing, whether it would be, his footwork or the various things he runs with his routes or in the run patterns. But he apparently loosened up and just kind of started playing football, and that's when he started playing better these last 2 games. So I agree that's a good pick, and I look for him to continue that momentum. I'm going to say something that, obviously is a pointed debate, but I'm looking for Jordan Love to be the breakout player of the final quarter of the year. And the reason is if the Packers do get out of playoff contention mathematically, I think we're assuming we're going to be seeing him at quarterback, and we're going to be able to see what he can do, playing with the starters in real games that mean something. So I'm going to look for him to make a jump, and one way or the other kind of reveal to us what type of player he could potentially be.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, I think that's very possible. I hope we don't have to see him because we're still in playoff contention. But if we do, it would be an interesting pick. And obviously that small sample set that we got, he certainly seems like he's ready to take a step, if he could continue that. It's kind of funny, too. You notice that, like, how Rodgers, when he was talking about that pass that Jordan Love threw to Watson, and Watson went for like 67 yards or whatever it was. It's like Rodgers tries to write that off. He's like, I don't know. I forgot how he said it, but in so many words, he was basically saying, well, just because he throws a slant pattern, 15 yards or 10 yards and completes it doesn't make him like amazing. He kind of like
downplayed it a little bit.
He totally did. And I'm not I'm totally paraphrasing and putting words in his mouth. He didn't say it like that, but I read it definitely like that when he said this statement. And I don't know. I think there's still like this driver in Rodgers, as injured as he was, that he just wants to keep Jordan Love down. It's so much like the frickin' Favre Rodgers thing. It's so ironic how he really kind of in some ways become a little bit like how Favre was in those later days.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah, you'd think that they would avoid that type of controversy this time, but sure as shit, there's, history is repeating itself here. So, in a way, I'm kind of excited because I like to see how this drama plays out, because football is indeed our soap opera.
Yeah, the soap opera.
Yeah, so I welcome the controversy. I welcome the debate, and let's see what happens, man.
Yeah, yep. Yeah. No, I would agree, buddy.
So everyone else watching this, please write down in the comments what you think the breakout player of the last quarter of the season will be. We'll look at those next week and discuss that further. So now I want to get to sharpening the knife.
They will call sharpening the knife, especially on the gland penis. Rub them 50 times.
Isles, what do the Packers need to do to sharpen the knife this week and get a victory against the Los Angeles Rams?
I think you should just do a collage of the first, whatever it's been, 14, probably the first 13, because we're not week 1, of all the sharpening of the knives, the defensive segment of each one of those, and see what we say. Because honest to God, it's just, they need to sharpen the defense. I mean, granted, we got some key turnovers in the last game, which was great, but it was still just like we cannot stop anybody. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's a freaking sharpen the defense. It's that easy for me.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? I thought this would be a banger segment, sharpening the knife, but we're seeing the same damn things week in and week out, It's getting pretty frustrating. So if I'm going to look at sharpening the knife, I'm going to go a little off script here. And I'm going to say, Matt LaFleur, you got to sharpen your damn knife. Mm-hmm. Unsheathe that son of a bitch and get this team ready to play football and play with some passion. So I'm going to say, hot seat? Matt LaFleur, you need to sharpen the damn knife. I do not think LaFleur is on the hot seat. I think his contract is kind of tied up with Gutenkunst, and that kind of is in line with Mark Murphy's final few years before he's forced into retirement. Can't come soon enough for that bozo, but I'll tell you what, I don't think Matt LaFleur is in any danger of losing his job, although I think this staff is going to have a facelift at the end of the year. Your thoughts, Isles?
I would say, I would probably agree, but I do think it's crazy how the noise of fans and stuff can somehow influence an organization. And I think we really saw that this year, even with our beloved Badgers, right?
Yeah.
I remember on the golf course with you on the tee box asking you the question, do you think Paul Christ would be fired? And you were like, there's no way that he would be fired at Wisconsin. It was like the next week he got freaking fired. And I really think that's attributed a lot to the noise of the faithful just being calling for his head, and just this constant, banter about how bad he is, having at least some influence into that. And I think that if the Packers do not get to the playoffs, or if we see another bad performance, or if we see some bad whatever from a coaching perspective, you're going to see people really ratchet up the calling for LaFleur's head.
Sure. I'll disagree slightly, only because I totally agree with you. I was completely wrong on the Christ thing, but I think we fail to realize that the NCAA is shifting so dramatically right now with the way the conferences are lining up and all the NIL stuff in the transfer portal and all that stuff. Yeah. So I think the Badgers really had to make this type of shocking move simply because it was there is no time than the present to pounce on that, to prepare themselves for the changing landscape. With the Packers, I think LaFleur he still is in the good graces of most of the fans and the front office. However, I think that this year is kind of exposing the warts of his philosophies, because we're seeing that I think Aaron Rodgers, having a Hall of Fame MVP caliber quarterback, really covers up a lot of warts.
Yeah. What do you? I know this topic is talked about too much, but I don't know if I've ever gotten your opinion on it. But right now, this very week, where do you feel that LaFleur's relationship is at with Rodgers? Do you think that that's getting a little rocky?
I have no idea. I haven't seen anything that really indicates that it really is on the rocks. I think they truly have a good relationship. I mean, last year or the year before at the ESPYs, Rodgers made a point of praising LaFleur to the moon and talking about how it helped him resurrect his love for football and getting him to play at an MVP level. I think losing just breeds frustration, and people bark at each other. That doesn't mean that they're not friends or they're not on good terms. So I think a lot of what we've seen on the sidelines is a bit overblown, and I don't have any real insight into what happens behind closed doors.
No, I was just curious. That's a really good take. That's a really good take, actually. I mean, sometimes, hopefully the barking that happens doesn't cross some line to alter a relationship. It's kind of like being philosophical about how if you and I have a disagreement, there's a certain line that I think when you care about somebody that you don't cross or you don't do. Sure. There's boundaries in every kind of a relationship that way. And as long as that barking stays, true to the game of football and that frustration, you're probably exactly right. It's probably blown out of proportion a bit.
Yeah, that's just a gut feeling. Like we said, we don't really know. But, I think the important thing a head coach in the NFL needs to do is simply lead men. They need to be somewhat of a CEO of everything on the football field. So you have to manage not only players, but you have to manage your coaching staff and make sure your coaching staff is doing the things that leads to success, ultimately. So I think what we've seen this year is just kind of a disconnect between LaFleur and maybe the greater staff. I think they're having trouble getting players on the same page and developing them properly. And I think there's also probably a disconnect between the front office, Brian Gutekunst, and LaFleur and his staff, simply not maybe getting the types of players that LaFleur wants.
Yeah.
Because we know LaFleur and his staff does not make any decisions on the actual player personnel. That's all done at Gutenkunst's office, and it's up to LaFleur to take what he's given and make a good team on the field. And we're just simply not seeing that this year.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a disconnect somewhere.
There's another question, and this is a totally pointless question, but just for the sake of fun.
That's
question.
By all means.
Let's let's imagine that the defense was what we even 75% expected them to be, and they were like that the whole year. If Watson was not injured in those first games and he would have caught that very first throw of the season, do you think that it would have been a different year?
Absolutely. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, though. You know?
Exactly. I mean, that's why I said it's a pointless ass question.
It is, but it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, I think there's no doubt if this defense was, like you said, 75% of what we expected it to be. You know, we expected it to be like a top 3 defense. So say it's a top 10 defense, right?
Yeah.
We're going to win a couple more of the games earlier in the season, I think. I think we all knew that the offense was going to be a work in progress, and it wouldn't be till the later half of the year for them to really get going. So it was really up to the defense to hold court until the offense got going. Now we're seeing the offense starting to gel a little bit, and the defense is still nowhere to be found.
That was going to be my next question for you. Do you think an HPOV, the higher point of view, has brought this up, which is a great point, and he said this many times this year, is do you think that now it's a fair assessment to say that the offense is starting to hold up their end of complementary football, but the defense is showing that they're just flat out not that good? Even with complementary football, they're just not good. Or do you think it's that the offense isn't giving them enough complementary football yet to be truly evaluated as a defense?
Well, that's a very good question, and Higher Point of View has some great takes on that. I agree. I do think, the offense is starting to play a little more complementary for the defense, right? I think this defense was always built and designed to play from ahead, meaning that it was always the assumption that with Aaron Rodgers, you're going to score a lot of points, and what you need is a defense that'll just keep everything in front of them and not allow big explosive plays and high-scoring games. So it was very much a bend but don't break defense. But when the offense can't hold up their part of the bargain, the levee starts to break and chaos ensues.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that topic, Kyles?
I kind of think that, at least in recent times, I feel like if I'm judging the question, is the offense the last maybe 2 weeks, maybe 2 to 2.5 weeks, starting to hold up their end of the bargain? I think the answer is kind of like we're showing a little bit, with like Dylan, like I talked about. You're getting a good time of possession. You're throwing some points on the board that are more winnable points. But I just don't see any dramatic real change in the defense. I mean, you have like our stud like Jair getting a pick or two in the last couple weeks, and I think that is should happen, like you say, when you get ahead and you force the other team to maybe have to throw the ball more than they want in situations where they shouldn't have to throw it. Ja's a talented dude. He's going to find the ball. And he's going to do a dance, and then he's going to let you know about it, and he's going to put a pair of shades on that we all wish we had. But yeah, I kind of still think, if I'm evaluating that question, that now the defense is truly showing that they're just not as good as we thought they were going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a little bit personnel, but it's a lot about scheme and getting the players in the position they need to be, and also development of these players. Because for God's sakes, we should be seeing Devontae Wyatt out there all the time now. Is there any reason? God, please, we don't need any more Dean Lowry. Let's see what these young guys can do.
Yeah. Barry's going to be gone, I think.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. And
Jim Leonard, like your video.
and if a change isn't made, I hope our guy Packers Kingdom can come in and make some changes on that defense.
That would be good.
He has some good takes on there, as well as the other guys in the pack attack. Hey, Isles, anything else you want to talk about before we break for another week?
Nope, I'm good. I'm good, buddy. You?
I'm doing okay. Are you a bit fatigued by the season so far?
Yeah, I am. It's just a little bit of a letdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to keep everybody up to date, though, my team did win in the King of the Hill pool that I discussed on that. I think it was last week's Breaking Down the Game when everybody was on.
The stream.
Yep. This week I'm going. We still have a Chiefs pick left.
Oh.
So there's 4 weeks remaining. There's 30 people left out of 6,810 people, and I'm one of the 30. And I still have the Chiefs. Chiefs are, I believe, playing away, but they're playing the Browns, I believe.
Okay.
A little scary. Maybe they're at home against the Browns. Maybe I'll bring that up next week. We'll bring it on the screen, and you can help me choose if we can survive another week and break it down.
I definitely wish you a lot of luck, and I know the other guys in the pack attack as well, because, I mean, heck, if we aren't all winning, at least one of our own can win a little bit.
That's exactly right.
So I wish you a lot of luck there.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to thank everyone for watching and sticking with us. It was a long bye week, and we have a lot of fun putting this together. Make sure you check out all the guys in the pack attack in their channels that I'm going to link below. You got Bernard, you got AJ, you got KHTV, you got Big Nate, you got Packer Fan in Vegas, and of course, Higher Point of View. I can't forget him, man. And obviously, me, TR, and Isles. Thanks for watching Breaking Down the Game. We're going to see you all next week.
All right, go Pack.
Go Pack!